It hasn't even been given the go-ahead, but the cost of the proposed Northern Gateway pipeline is already rising. A federal panel has laid out almost 200 conditions which would have to be met before the project could proceed. Among them, almost $1 billion in insurance costs to cover a catastrophic oil spill. Enbridge, the company behind the project, must also inspect the pipeline every 2 years. The panel's stressing there is still no decision on the pipeline. With more on the conditions and what's ahead for Northern Gateway, we're joined now by the CBC's Alana Baker in Calgary. So, Alana, tell us more about the key conditions that this panel's come up with.
Well, there are 4 main areas of concern that the conditions cover. Now, first, the pipeline must have a financial plan for anything that goes wrong during construction or operation. And as part of that plan, $950 million is to be set aside for things like spill cleanup and environmental remediation. Now, second, the project has to take many steps to prevent things from going wrong in the first place. That means things like having very specific coatings on the pipeline itself, plus built-in protections at the port in Kitimat. Included in that is a 24-hour emergency response plan and a huge secondary containment area at the terminal. Now, third, there would also be steps taken to address the socioeconomic impacts of the project. And that includes having plans for Aboriginal and local consultation and employment. And it could also mean restrictions on hiring temporary foreign workers for the construction. And fourth, the project must have plans to minimize the impact on plants and animals along the entire stretch of the pipeline. Speed limits for tankers at the port in Kitimat are being recommended. Plus, the panel saying they'd like to see research into the impact of heavy oil spills on aquatic plants and animals.
So that's a long list of conditions, 200 in total. What's been the response, if any, from Enbridge?
Well, Enbridge did respond briefly, saying they're happy with most of the conditions, but they won't comment too much until they can review them all thoroughly, because there are so many conditions. They do say, though, that the conditions would solidify many of the things that they have said they do voluntarily. Now, though, Enbridge and all the other stakeholders get a chance to respond to the conditions, even to suggest changes or additional conditions. That has to happen by May 31st.
Obviously a busy time ahead. Lots to watch for. We'll stay on it. Alana, thanks for the update. Alana Baker in Calgary.